Hello and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Year 1142, the Emperor's heirs in danger. News from the capital quickly reaches every corner of the empire. Gerion and Flavius, the heirs to the throne, have left the Emperor's palace for the province of Monia, which is ruled by Great Chancellor Egarius Monroe. The Great Chancellor has accused the Emperor's court of harbouring malefactors conspiring against the imperial heirs. This is why he has offered them shelter and safety in his own impregnable citadel. The common people are particularly worried by the news. They take it as a sign that the Chancellor is seeking to solidify his power by holding the heirs hostage. If this continues, Monroe could coerce the Emperor into revoking the imperial law, thus depriving the common estate of any and all rights. All hope for reform in the Empire has vanished. From farmer to rich industrialist, the commoners are growing desperate. In your province, the authorities are trying their best to put the people at ease. The magistrate of Enizot makes a speech from his balcony to the excited crowd below.
Trust in your emperor, good people. The imperial heirs are the future of the Great Tempest dynasty. The emperor has made the wise decision to send them far away from the scheming court. Great Chancellor Monroe will take good care of them and keep them safe. All glory to the empire, all glory to the Tempests.
Misery and devastation. We're very close to barren land. Chapter Peacetime ends soon. Examine possible chapter endings to check which way you are headed. To achieve the goal that you've chosen, you'll have to meet all of its conditions at the end of the chapter. We're not checking them. The search for evidence. You're walking up the marble stairs that lead to the doors of the prefecture. The sword of the younger twin, carved from stone, looms above the doors, just as the case of Dorius Otton now looms over you. Preparing this case will take many long months, or even years. The words of Prefect Elborn are evidence enough of that. And time and again you will ask yourself, are you ready to see this case through to the end? Father meets you at the stairs, and judging by the dour look about him, news of your most recent case has already reached him.
Son, I didn't want to discuss this back home. Elborn is our friend and I stand by him at all times, but he's dragged you into something that is far too dangerous. I'm not going to repeat your grandfather's mistakes, so I won't tell my son how to live his life or what to do, but I ask you to please consider our family. Would it be worth it to let us come to harm, even if the triumph of justice and law is at stake? There are already rumors at the prefecture. They say you're getting ready to summon a highborn Arcanian to court. Soon these rumors will spread beyond the prefecture walls. You and I are both Brantes. Perhaps we ought to stay away from something so dangerous. Some battles are too ugly for us to win. You can always slow down the process and bide your time with routine paperwork. Avoid attracting unwanted attention. This way your career and our family honor would not be at risk. Trust me in this, son. Rather than making a selfless sacrifice, we can achieve far more through tireless service for the good of the law.
You promise, Father, you will consider his words. You say goodbye and return to your office. You are at a crossroads. If you are to make any headway in the case against Otton, you have to start now while the trail of his misdeeds is still fresh. You have little first-hand knowledge of Otton's criminal wrongdoings, only Tomas's stories and what you have seen for yourself. Turning this case into a trial requires far more evidence than that. Your friend could be the key to the entire case. If he can help you find the other men who have suffered under the remorseless Arcanian, but Tomas is a hunted man. He has every reason to lay low and steer clear of the courthouse. If Tomas can put you in touch with other victims and witnesses among the soldiers and officers of the Legion, perhaps you could gather evidence yourself. But the Legion may meet a lone outsider such as you with too much resistance. Things might get ugly. You consider your options. Apart from Tomas, who else could help you gather compelling evidence against the commander? Otton is an Arcanian from an ancient dynasty. Anyone involved will hold their tongue no matter what. The way things are right now, not a single soul would risk angering the Ottons to aid a middling judge from an unknown family. Unless an even more highborn Arcanian chooses to support your cause. Gaius Tempest, the imperial overseer of Magra, the emperor's own brother. Every aristocrat in the province knows he detests Dorius Otton for remaining loyal to Archduke Melanidas. Ensuring the overseer's support would increase your authority greatly and give you a chance to gather evidence against Otton without Tomas lifting a finger. but the Imperial Overseer is one step above the Prefect, your immediate superior. You can only address Gaia's Tempest directly if you keep it a secret from Alborn. Communicating directly with the Overseer of the province means defying your loyalty to Alborn. Are you willing to do this? Puzzled, you start pacing around your office. It's time to decide how you will begin this case. Depending on what you choose, the case against Otton could lead you to unprecedented success, or end your career, or even your very life. We can't ask the Overseer because our reputation isn't big enough. We can't ask Tomas because he's in hiding. We could search for evidence on our own. Well, we'd not do that. We're not wasting our time. Put that on the back burner. Father is right. There's no reason to risk your well-being and the well-being of your friends and family like this. This way you will not antagonize the aristocracy. With no noble human or Arcanian perceiving you as a threat, your career will be secure and it may even flourish. You will refrain from pursuing Otton for now and commit only the minimum effort necessary to this case. Without leaving your office, you draw up a detailed list of Otton's potential transgressions and indicate that acquiring credible evidence for these crimes is currently impossible. The Legion officers who have fallen victim to Otton's sword are unlikely to speak of the duels, anxious as they are to avoid getting challenged again. For many of them, another duel would be their last. The lack of formal complaints from the officers or their families makes inaction even easier. The officers met their death in the line of duty. What else is there to say? You add these conclusions to the Finn folder against Otton, then file it away and move on to other cases. One day, Prefect Alborn pays you a visit to see your progress firsthand.
Are you saying you've learned nothing else of note, Brante? What a pity. The Legion soldiers are not the only ones who fear Commander Otton, it seems. I hoped you would be braver than your father, but this is understandable. A dangerous case like this is nothing but a hindrance to a promising young judge who seeks to advance his career, is it not? Well then, it saddens me to say it, but so far we lack the evidence to have the commander indicted, especially since he is a highborn Arcanian. But this is only the beginning. The situation could change at any time. I see you've put away Otton's case to focus on others. Quite sensible, seeing as we have no alternative right now. If we want to have any chance of getting him indicted in court, we need to make the nobles in the province recognize duels as acts of murder. This means defying a tradition of old, a road perilous and seldom travelled. It means enforcing the rule of law over the Anisot gentry. For now, Sir Brante, return to your other duties and pay particular attention to any dueling incidents. We will take our next step against Sir Otton when the time is right. At the end of the day, you run into your father on the way out of the office. As you go down the winding staircase leading to the exit, he gives you a quick hug when no one is looking. I spoke with Alborn, Calamity. He's disappointed in you, but don't take it personally. You chose to avoid the ire of people more powerful than us. You did the right thing. It's much easier for Alborn to get involved in something like this. He's a baron and a noble of the sword. An Arcanian's word won't be enough to have him executed. You, on the other hand, don't have that privilege. You can't bring any hope or justice to this world if you're dead. In this case, it's much more serious than it may seem. Even Sir Otton, highborn Arcanian though he is just a pawn in a much larger game. The Brante family would do well to stay off the board entirely.
Ooh, future prefect. And we've got even more willpower. That is very helpful. Stefan's Gambit. A consequence that he doesn't hate us. Okay. You have hardly found any time for family matters this year. The events taking place in the city keep you busy at all hours. Tonight, you come home extremely late, but the fireplace in the sitting room is lit. By the fire you see Stefan with a glass of wine. Your elder brother has been waiting for you. You take a seat in the chair by Stefan's side. Your brother keeps turning his glass with his long fingers.
Calamity, we need to have a talk about Gloria. She flatly refuses to behave as she ought to. Her antics are ruining our family's reputation. If this situation persists, nobility of the sword will be out of the question. Brother, I do not wish her ill, but we have no right to sit idly by. Regrettably, Gloria will never truly be a part of the Brante family. Her origins are too tarnished, so it is our duty to find her a new family. It is high time Gloria got married. But we can't just give our sister to a commoner, can we? And how could any noble wed her, knowing her origins? It's been a stumbling block for a long time, but I finally found a suitable match for her. His name is José el Pelletier. The name does sound familiar to me. He is a young nobleman of the sword, recently graduated from the college, and now he has a position at the city hall. Do you recall the reception several years ago, where he couldn't take his eyes off Gloria? Oh yeah, that was it. Pelletier has been obsessed with her ever since. Not even her lowly origins can deter him. Admittedly, Gloria does not reciprocate his affection just yet. So let us convince Gloria that becoming Sir El Pelletier's bride is her chance to escape her current situation, and then let us pray she comes to her senses and puts her rebellious ways behind her. Isn't this an ideal solution? After marrying El Pelletier, Gloria will be a noble woman herself. We'll be granting her the freedom she's craved since she was a girl, and then she can write poetry and do whatever else takes her fancy. I will enter into negotiations with the El Pelletier family. Rumor has it José's father already has a future wife in mind for him, the daughter of an important chancery official, but José's passion must win out in the end, don't you agree? As for you, Calamity, please help me with Gloria. You're closest with her. You can make her see how beneficial this match would be. She must fulfill her duty to the family that took her in after all.
Stefan looks at you expectantly. You are at a crossroads. Will you accept your brother's plan or refuse him? Will this marriage be a blessing, and for whom? We're accepting it. This is, I think, the best outcome for everyone here. You remain silent for some time, weighing your decision. The plan your brother has proposed sounds reasonable. In a new family and with a noble title, Gloria will be able to put all the resentment about her fate behind her and be free of the limitations of the lowly estate. You let Stefan know that you're on his side. A broad smile lights up his face as he reclines in his chair. I knew you'd be sensible. Together we can certainly make it happen. But remember how stubborn Gloria is. An easy victory is not to be expected. The next morning you invite Gloria to join you in the library for a private conversation. You inquire carefully about your sister's thoughts on marriage. If a nobleman of the sword were to wed her, she would join the noble estate and all the arts would be open to her. Gloria laughs in response. Become a noblewoman? In all of Anisot, you'd never find a single nobleman of the sword who would ever marry a lowborn girl like me. I don't even have a father. You mention José el Pelletier. This spirited young gentleman would be willing to join Gloria in wedlock. Marry El Pelletier? Calamity, you don't understand. Sure, he's easy on the eyes. He's a skilled warrior and a respected nobleman, but he's been after me for a year now and I've managed to figure out what he's after. He needs a wife to give birth to his heirs, follow him around obediently at social gatherings and praise his chivalry. Can you see me in that role? Yes. Gloria falls silent for a moment, gathering her thoughts. Besides, I don't even want to be a noblewoman, okay? I can't just live peacefully within the noble estate knowing that other commoners are still suffering. I can't just pretend their misery has nothing to do with me. Yeah, but doing something about that is much easier from a position of higher power than as a commoner yourself. You try to give her a taste of the benefits that a nobleman brings, but your sister doesn't even want to hear you. This is all Stefan's idea, isn't it? You'd never throw me out of the house on your own. So hear this, it's not going to happen. We're not throwing you out of the house, we're offering you a better place. Later you inform Stefan of your sister's refusal. His face turns to stone. The ingrate. I've almost come to an agreement with old El Pelletier. All the pains we've taken to arrange her future, and this is how she repays us. Well, we'll proceed without consulting her. Brother, we need to devise a way to put pressure on Gloria, even if it takes us a long time. Okay. An audience with the overseer. That's because we're not branded by dishonor and our career is going swimmingly. Recent events have strengthened your position even further. Your authority among the judges is unchallenged. There is talk in noble circles to the effect that a nobleman with such respect for honor and tradition would be ideal for the post of prefect. You receive a letter early in the morning. The seal on the envelope is that of the Imperial Tempest dynasty. Gaius Tempest himself, the overseer of the province and the emperor's brother, has summoned you to an audience with him. You are to head for his headquarters at the castle of Aneri at once. Without delay, you send for a tailor and purchase a new suit in the latest fashion. A waistcoat, a shirt with a jabot, and a long velvet coat fitted at the waist. You also go to the barber and make sure your appearance is impeccable. You are leaving Anisot. The journey to NRE is not a short one. You while away the time by observing the barren landscape and musing. The overseer of Magra himself wishes to see you in person. But why? All you can do is wait for the audience. 5 days later, you arrive at your destination. The estate of NRE is remarkably prosperous for the desiccated province of Magra. Gaius Tempest's home has a truly Arcanian flair, a massive stronghold surrounded by imposing walls that is set upon a rocky ledge and encircled by a moat with a stone bridge across it. You are expected to present yourself for an audience by noon. You enter a study. It is quite modestly decorated, by Arcanian standards. The most powerful Arcanian in Magra is sitting at his desk, penning some ordinances. After finishing another line, he notices you. The scratching of his quill stops. Gaius Tempest has not changed since the time you saw him on the balcony of the Imperial Palace, celebrating the heir's coming of age. And now, the overseer of Magra, scion of the Tempest dynasty and brother of the Emperor, stands before you. You offer a gracious bow. Gaius Tempest accepts your greeting with a favourable nod. I've heard of your family, Sir Calamity Brante. Nobles of the mantle for 2 generations only, and already such recognition among noble society. Your work as a judge deserves respect as well. It seems you know how to choose your friends and allies. You assure the overseer that you are flattered by his appreciation. You also remark that your principal allies are the law and your loyalty to the Empire. A faint grin passes over Gaius Tempest's exquisite features. Just as I thought, but one of those who must be your allies, Sir Alborn, has disappointed me as of late. Please understand what I mean, Brante. My prefect is a talented and honest judge, but alas, he is also myopic and acts too hastily. Firm power is needed to bring a positive change to the province. As for Alborn's escapades, he is playing with fire by expanding the rights of the lowborn and aggravating the nobility. Change is out of the question as long as my legitimate authority in Magra can be challenged by that serpent Melanidas and his entourage. Because of his schemes, half of the old nobility have turned against me. The other half are people like Remy El Vermont who do not know what true loyalty is. Scoundrels like him never stay with the same master or ally for long. His only goal is to destroy his enemies, no matter the cost. But let us return to the question I brought you here to discuss. I am aware that you have begun legal proceedings against Commander Otton. He is among those who have chosen the wrong side in my dispute with the Archduke. I will not object if this impudent youth pays for his stubbornness, but please remember his noble blood. I cannot allow a highborn Arcanian to be judged by the same court that reviews the petty grievances of the lowborn. There are certain traditions that must remain inviolable. The case will not be adjudicated by the prefecture. Otton must be handed over to a noble court of honor. It is not a question of justice. By killing my legion soldiers, Otton has insulted me personally. In a court of honor, I will be able to deal with Otton properly, Arcanian to Arcanian. But only if you, Brante, can gather sufficient proof and occupy such a position that not only I, but all the other nobles must heed your advice. I need a personal ally at the prefecture. If you prove to be useful to me, you will become a member of the entourage of Overseer Gaius of the Tempests. In order to give you a free hand, I will order you to be promoted to the rank of senior judge. You have already shown yourself to be worthy of the title. But remember, you are henceforth loyal to me personally, and not to Prefect Alborn. Gaius Tempest gestures to a sealed envelope on his desk. This is the decree ordering your promotion, but remember that Otton must not stand trial in a prefecture court. The only judgment awaiting him is my own. May I assume that we are clear, Sir Brante? Gaius Tempest watches you intently. His cold stare is difficult to endure. The overseer is not accustomed to being refused, but are you willing to accept this proposal? I was going to accept this proposal either way, but we can't even choose anything else anyway. Okay, our valor is not high enough to decline. Yep, we're taking the envelope. Your head bowed, you accept the envelope. You promise the overseer that you will carry out all his orders. Gaius Tempest reclines in his chair with a satisfied air. I expected nothing less. You have risen high, Brante. You have the patronage of a noble Arcanian from the Tempest family. Don't let me down. Otton must fall. Gather evidence and prepare your case, but remember your place in this affair. It is a dispute between two Arcanians, not a human trial. It is time for the midday meal. You will depart first thing tomorrow, but you will spend the night in the castle. You leave for Anisot the next morning. Rumors about your audience with the overseer make their way through every noble household. Becoming a senior judge is a big deal. Prefect Alborn receives the news of your promotion with the utmost surprise, but fulfills Gaius Tempest's request without any objection. Traditionally, a promotion is an occasion that calls for celebration. Your family funds must shoulder this burden. Such is the custom, goddammit. Your grandfather Gregor Brante is the only other member of the family to hold such a lofty position at the prefecture. The celebration attracts all of Anisot high society. Among the other guests, Magistrate El Vermont pays you a visit. The celebration is in full swing when Remy El Vernon takes the stage.
My dear Calamity, allow me to congratulate you on becoming a senior judge. I'm glad to see this post filled by a real nobleman who has respect for our traditions. You may not have been born a nobleman, but you have become one. But you mustn't rest on your laurels. Instead of truly dispensing justice, many judges prefer to interfere with the lives of Anisot's most esteemed citizens. I'm sure you will find a way to put them in their place. A toast to new heights for Senior Judge Brante.
The magistrate's speech is met with applause. Meanwhile, the seat reserved for Prefect Alborn is empty. He has chosen not to come at all. Gaius Tempest is right. You have risen high, but the higher the ascent, the more deadly the fall. Oton's case has turned into something more, a struggle for a power in the province. You must be careful. With that thought, you empty your glass. Changed from betrayed to betrayed. Who cares? Career +2. We were already at 9 anyway. Alright. And we're very influential. We're almost received in elite circles. A realm unknown. The sun is setting on a cold, windy day as you return from the prefecture. To your surprise, a messenger awaits you at the door with an urgent letter from Sir Alborn. You open the letter. Brante, there is an urgent case that I must entrust to you. We have just received the report of a secret society formed by young nobles. The Archduke's family may be involved. This concerns me. I suspect a possible plot to depose Overseer Tempest. Normally the secret chancellery handles all such cases, but I'd rather investigate the rumors of the plot before there is any action. Preventing unnecessary bloodshed and disgrace would be prudent. You are to investigate this matter as soon as possible. The gendarmes tracked down a suspicious nobleman by the name of Alexis El Lance. Based on his confession, a meeting of this society will be held tonight. Unfortunately, this is all we were able to learn from him. The El Lance family is of too high standing for more thorough questioning. Fortunately, all members of this secret society wear masks when attending meetings. We have acquired El Lance's personal mask and will ensure that he is late to the meeting. You should be able to impersonate him quite easily. You are to attend the meeting tonight and learn as much as possible about this secret society. This will allow us to foil a dangerous plot or save many young people from the secret chancellery. The letter includes a delicate gilded mask of intricate workmanship. Fortunately, it fits your face perfectly. It seems your plans for tonight have changed. Following the prefect's instructions, you come at the appointed hour to an inconspicuous mansion on the edge of Anisot with a spacious yard and a tall fence around it. The gatekeepers bow and open the gate as soon as they see you. It seems the mask is enough to convince them you belong inside. Inside the yard you see noble carriages, many more than you had expected. You are ushered into a dressing room of sorts. A change of clothes already awaits you inside. It is a curious garb, a square of flowing, sparkling cloth with clasps and cords to keep it from unwrapping. You have never seen anything like it. With this strange robe and the gilded mask over your normal clothes and face, you cannot help but feel rather silly. This attire feels positively unsuitable for any kind of plotting or scheming. Next, you proceed to a large room. The windows are covered in black cloth to keep prying eyes away, but you forget about it moments later. What seems to be a strange performance is playing out before your very eyes. You hear droning, unfamiliar music coming seemingly from nowhere. You see candlelight dancing and glimmering. Ribbons of gold and silver are hung along the walls as decorations, and there are people, many people like you. They are dressed in flowing robes and delicate gilded masks with narrow slits for eyes. The people are talking. They stand unexpectedly close to one another, their hands on each other's shoulders. You approach one of the groups, hoping to overhear the subject of the conversation, but you almost recoil when several arms reach out at once, attempting to grasp you tenderly by the shoulder. Steeling yourself, you put a hand on another person's forearm. The masked people seem friendly and genial. No one appears surprised by your insecurity. And their conversations are also quite out of the ordinary. You hear unfamiliar names that could belong to legendary heroes of old, or to the people here who have taken them as secret identities. You hear mentions of books you do not know and emotions they felt while reading them. Their conversations feel like a strange dream. You hear several voices singing in a far-off corner of the room. There are no lyrics to the song, each voice maintains its own note. Together these voices form a tender, softly aching melody. It feels enrapturing, it spirits you away. You feel so distant now from the purpose of your visit, so withdrawn from the judge's trade, so far away from the Empire and from yourself. A hand touches your shoulder, bringing you back to your senses. A pair of familiar eyes look at you intently from behind a glinting greenish-silver mask. They belong to Octavia. You pull back and bow to the Archduke's daughter. I believe I recognize the man behind this mask. I never expected to see you here today, my extraordinary human. But I must behave here. You'd best do the same. We're not alone. It would be best if we're not seen too close to one another. As for this place, Sir Brante, allow me to explain. This is my circle of La-Tari, and before you ask, no, we do not plot, nor do we scheme. We have removed ourselves as far as possible from such machinations. This place is a little world of our own, a brief respite from tradition and noble customs and other such fuss. Our gathering is but a pretense, a game of make-believe. We pretend we are neither nobles nor citizens of the blessed empire, nor humans nor Arcanians, but the La-Tari. Do you know what this word means? I would not be surprised if you have never heard of the La-Tari. These days the people of La-Tari are mentioned only in rare historical works. Long before us, in an age when this land was fertile and green, the La-Tari lived upon the land that would become Magra. They were masters of remarkable art. They could create worlds from nothing but their conscious minds. Many of these people come here for simple entertainment and a brief taste of freedom. Others seek a respite from the binding customs of the noble lot. Still others feel encumbered by their blood ties and ancestral obligations. Only here are we fully free from the burden of our past and our present. Yet some among us seek more than brief moments of freedom. They are drawn here by a fascination with the La-Tari and their idea that our entire existence can be shaped by the mind alone. We strive to know the La-Tari people for ourselves. We strive to continue their teachings. We strive to become them. If we happen to master the art of shaping worlds from our own minds, we may yet break free of the trap that is this harsh existence. Surprised by this, you ask her why she is telling you this so openly. She knows that the rituals of extinct races are held in the same regard as magic and punishable as such. In response to your question, Octavia suddenly takes off her golden mask and reveals a slight smile on her once hidden face. May your voice never speak words of deceit. To great shame lies the path of untruth. Where an Arcanian lies, where a human denies, the La-Tari speak truly, forsooth. I'm not afraid. The truth of the La-Tari matters more to me than any persecution. You came here in secret wearing a mask, which means the prefecture has taken an interest in my little gatherings. But I'm confident you will describe this as an innocent club of young nobles and keep our fragile world from prying ears and eyes. Would you do this for me, Calamity Brante? These words spoken by Octavia sound more like an assertion than a question, but you are in no hurry to respond. Your thoughts are tangled, lost among the echoing voices, fluid motions, and transcendent music. This gathering is in violation of the law, this you cannot deny. All rituals of extinct races were banned at the foundation of the Empire. You may summon the gendarmes here at any moment. You need only give a sign to the driver, and when they get here the circle of La-Tari will be gone in an instant. You will prove to the city that not even the most noble of its denizens are above the law, but Octavia will never forgive you. You could, on the other hand, keep the circle of La-Tari a secret from Elborn and report this meeting as a harmless gathering of young nobles looking for an opportunity to socialize. But if the secret chancellery ever takes interest in these meetings, you will be powerless. Someone has already reported Octavia's circle to the prefecture. There is a very good chance these reports will continue. Perhaps if you tell Octavia of the danger she is facing, she will disband the circle herself. There is one more way you could resolve this predicament. With a piece of paper, some ink, and a bit of skill, the Circle of La-Tari could become a noble historical society, one of many dozen in an Isot alone. Legitimized by the city, Octavia's gatherings would remain a secret within this mansion. But do you have enough influence to make this possible? And would it be wise to expend it in this way? I'm sure I have enough influence, don't I? Say something, Calamity. This is no time to be quiet. The great mystery of La-Tari is about to begin. Yeah, I just about have enough. Definitely we're doing this. What were the other requirements? Convince her to disband the circle. We could, but that would... that would tarnish our relationship. We're legitimizing it. You chuckle, shaking your head. How quaint. A group of nobles hiding from sight, wearing masks, studying the culture of a long-dead race. Has Lady Octavia never considered taking her historical studies a bit more seriously? Octavia's eyes narrow, trying to discern the meaning behind your words. There is a way to make the meetings of the circle fully legitimate, you continue. You have enough influence to get the papers they need and have them signed by the right people. Octavia's face lights up. She continues your half-finished thought right away. Indeed, my dear Sir Brante, welcome to a meeting of our Imperial Historical Society. Surely you would be so kind as to procure us a proper plaque for the door? You nod. With a genial smile, Octavia extends her hand to you. You take it and kiss it gently. If only we were alone so that I could show you the full extent of my gratitude. But the great mystery of the night is about to begin. You should leave us. You'll bring danger upon the circle if you're seen coming here again. You'd best get those papers prepared right away, kind Calamity. The members of the circle are already gathering in the middle of the room, ready to begin their mysterious ritual. You feel dozens of eyes on you from behind the gilded masks. They will not begin until you leave the circle. Following Lady Octavia's suggestion, you change into your normal clothes and leave the mansion. The next day, you report to Elborn and put his concerns to rest. There is no sign whatsoever of any noble plot. The group is nothing but a historical society run by several young nobles who meet to discuss the cultures of old. They simply lack legitimacy, but you can rectify that. This sounds suspicious, Brante, and the Archduke's daughter is involved. I hope you know what you're doing. Either way, I'm glad we didn't sick the gendarmes on them. I hope the secret chancellery and Sir Alfaro never learn of those reports. I doubt the advisor would be as tolerant of their youthful amusements. You assure the prefect that Lady Octavia's Historical Society will have all the permits they need to operate without arousing suspicion, and so the Anizot Historical Society for the Study of Ancient Peoples is founded. The City Hall wastes no time approving the necessary paperwork. Every official there knows that Judge Brante is a respectable gentleman with friends in high places, and your busy patrons pay no heed to the follies of young nobles. Octavia sends you her reward in the form of a letter. When you open the envelope to read it, a gilded key clinks onto the floor. Calamity, I'm impressed by your abilities. You know how to use your connections and bring me joy. It pleases me to know that I was right about you. A chest matching this key will be delivered to your estate tonight. Farewell, Calamity. It will be some time before we meet again. I have much to do on my own. You cannot help but think of Octavia and those who followed her. They have dared to reject their nature, lot and birth in an attempt to become something else entirely. But do they have what it takes to cast off the shackles of their existence? Or are they nothing but madmen who yearn for the impossible? As for Octavia and her circle of La-Tari, you hear nothing of them for a long time. After that night, the Archduke's daughter seems to vanish from the social circles of Anisot. She has never been one to tell you about her plans. Your encounters with her have ended as abruptly as they had begun. Yeah, we've increased our wealth. That is very useful. Our willpower has gone down a bit. That's okay. Theology has gone up a bit. And diplomacy, we are received in elite circles. Very good. Year 1143. 25 years. Which is exactly where we'll end this episode. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Thanks for doing so, and I'll see you guys next time.